When do you play Barabajagal? We all know Barabajagal is getting played. That's not up for debate. Barabajagal will be experienced. Barabajagal will be heard. Barabajagal will have its moment. The question that plagues even the most seasoned enthusiasts and playlist curators isn't if Barabajagal, but when Barabajagal, because timing, my friends, is everything. You could always start with Barabajagal, and certainly there are arguments for this approach. It sets the tone. It establishes Barabajagal dominance. It announces to the room, we're not here to mess around. Opening with Donovan and Jeff Beck's percussive Barabajagal masterpiece is like serving the dessert first. Unconventional, but occasionally necessary. And ending with Brava Juggle is always good too. It sends everyone home with that distinctive Brava Juggle rhythm etched into their brain matter. A parting gift, a final Brava Juggle statement, if you will. Remember this moment, it says. Remember what happened here tonight. But when shuffled in with the rest of the mix, that's where the true artistry lives. Is it proper to follow Weezer's Say It Ain't So with Barabajagal? The emotional whiplash could send unprepared listeners to the hospital, and yet sometimes that's exactly what the doctor ordered. The risk takers, the mavericks among us, they know that jarring transition is where transcendence happens. Let's start off thinking about when you shouldn't play it. Not that you won't play it, because you will, but when is the worst time? Funerals come to mind immediately, but even then I've witnessed exceptions. Uncle Rodney's memorial service took an unexpected turn when that unmistakable rhythm kicked in, and suddenly we were all celebrating life instead of mourning its passage. It was. Was it appropriate? Perhaps not. Was it necessary? Barabajagal. This is why it's good to start with Barabajagal, because you know it'll get played, but then, as a side note, it's perhaps proper to mention that Barabajagal isn't required, but it is expected. It's on the menu, so to speak. It's there and shouldn't be neglected, but it's like the deviled eggs or perhaps biscuits and gravy at the family gathering. Not everyone will partake, but their absence will be noted and discussed later in hushed, concerned tones. I have heard of Barabajagal's absence being used as ambiance. When a certain group expects Barabajagal and doesn't receive it, it can be quite a statement. The anticipation builds, the knowing glances exchanged. Where is it? They wonder silently. When will it arrive? Sometimes it never does, and that silence speaks volumes. The Barabajagal-shaped hole becomes the most powerful element in your playlist. Let's talk about Barabajagal pairings. A nice Led Zeppelin track followed by Barabajagal creates what experts call a British invasion handshake. Following it by something from the Kinks? That's advanced playlist architecture most DJs spend years mastering. The 1969-1970 Barabajagal sandwich is a particular delicacy when served at the right moment. Typically after your third beverage, but before anyone suggests karaoke. Of course, crafting a fine Barabajagal sandwich can also be quite eluding. Should you go Beatles Barabajagal Stones? Or perhaps something more daring like Hendrix Barabajagal James Taylor? The contrast is the point. The jarring transition becomes the message. Life isn't smooth, your playlist declares. Why should your listening experience be? There is the staccato element of a solo Barabajagal experience, playing with nothing preceding or following, allowing its resonance to hang in the air like a question no one dared ask. The silence afterwards becomes a character in the room. People will remember where they were during that silence after Barabajagal. I was reaching for my drink. They'll say years later, I was looking at Janet. Others will admit. Let's talk about atmosphere, shall we? Barabajagal could be present anywhere, but not every time, if you know what I mean. A backyard barbecue reaching that perfect golden hour when the conversation has peaked and has begun its gentle descend. That's Barabajagal time. A road trip when you've hit the open highway and the snacks have been distributed. Barabajagal wouldn't be inappropriate. A moment after someone makes a heartfelt toast at a dinner party. Perhaps wait 15 minutes. Then Barabajagal. A philosophical question that has troubled all scholars for generations. If Barabajagal plays in the woods and no one is around to hear it, does it still groove? The Barabajagal in isolation paradox challenges our very understanding of Barabajagal's purpose. Is Barabajagal a personal experience or a communal one? Does Barabajagal require witnesses to fulfill its destiny? Or does Barabajagal exist in a pure state when freed from the expectations of its audience? One could imagine billions of years ago, when the earth was hot and molten, the tribal popping and cracking of the earth's crust. That's Barabajagal, is it not? After all, love is hot, and the truth is molten. Those primordial rhythms, the percussion of creation itself. Barabajagal didn't begin in 1969. It merely found human expression then. The universe has been playing Barabajagal since the Big Bang. Each galaxy a percussion instrument in the cosmic ensemble. When tectonic plates shift and volcanoes erupt, they're just keeping time with the eternal Barabajagal beat that existed long before we had ears to hear it. I've conducted several experiments on this front, playing Barabajagal in empty rooms, abandoned buildings, and once in a meadow populated only by indifferent cattle. The results were inconclusive, but spiritually enriching. The Barabajagal energy seemed to transform the human space regardless of human perception. The atoms vibrated with Barabajagal potential. Perhaps Barabajagal doesn't need us at all. Perhaps we need Barabajagal. Live Barabajagal is unfortunately something I have not a lot of experience with. But since it is live, if it happens, it's probably already on the list. So those performing it will inevitably be in charge of when it's performed. Though I've heard stories of audience members shouting for it at inappropriate venues. Classical concerts, spoken word poetry events, presidential inaugurations. The wisdom of the performer usually prevails. I have experienced surprised Barabajagal that had an almost actual cathartic effect on me. I don't want to go into further details except to say that it sometimes, when you least expect it, when you are at your most vulnerable, Barabajagal finds you, and in that moment, you understand everything and nothing simultaneously. It is a wonder what people did before Barabajagal. Did they feel the same rhythm in their souls and simply lack the vocabulary to express it? Did they sense the absence of something they couldn't name? History suggests our ancestors were restless, constantly seeking, building empires and tearing them down. Perhaps all along they were just waiting for Barabajagal. In conclusion, there is no definitive answer to when you should play Barabajagal. Like all great art, Barabajagal exists to be experienced in context, and you, yes, you are part of creating that context. The true Barabajagal answer lies not in a set of Barabajagal rules, but in that moment when your finger hovers over the play button and you ask yourself, is it Barabajagal time? If you have to ask, it probably is Barabajagal time.